Hello everyone, welcome back to Black Cats TV, and we've got another special guest today. We're joined by the one and only Wayne Doran from Only Fools and SAFC. How you doing, Wayne?
I'm not too bad. Special being the descriptive word there, I'm guessing. But I'm good, mate. I'm good. Long time no see. Good.
Yeah, it's nice to catch you in this country. You're usually jet setting doing videos from your hotel rooms.
Well, sometimes it's the only perks you get, but you've done well to capture us.
There you go. We'll make the most of it.
We have to change days and schedules, but it's fine. I've got an ambush planned later.
No.
Excellent. Right. So, obviously, we're in this international break. Obviously, we all love the international breaks because there's, at least there's no losses and no Coventry games in the international breaks. I said I wouldn't mention Coventry, but I did. Have you seen any of the Sunderland players' international performances, Wayne? I saw a highlights clip of Job, but
I saw the clip of Job getting an assist in the second game, didn't he? I think he's been getting some rave reviews, hasn't he, from that? I saw Chris Riggs' goal, which he took it quite well. I've seen out of Meyenda's under 21s and I know Ballard, Trey Hume's come back injured, hasn't he? So
I think Labries just on his press conference said he should be ready for Saturday. That might be hopeful though, because we've ran out of defenders.
I don't know what kind of back four we're going to have at the weekend, do you, me?
Yeah, we were talking about that in our preview, thinking we could only figure out having a back three would be the only thing that works for that. Conrad, have you watched any of the international performances or anything?
No, I've seen the clips, like you say. I saw as well, people were all getting really excited over a turn that Rigg did as well, where he sent like three players the wrong way at one while he had his in almost a position that Dan Neil has been playing for us as well. So probably showing that he could actually probably play a bit deeper if required to as well. But yeah, he took his finish well. It reminded me of his Leeds goal earlier on in the season, where it sort of just bobbled around the box for him and he was just in the right place to slot it in there. I heard good things about Mayenda playing. I think he got minutes in both games. I think he started one of them, but it seemed like they were happy with him.
Do you know if he started up front or if they put him on one of the wings or something?
I didn't see that, but I just know he played.
All right, okay.
Researchful as ever, if that's a word.
Wayne, we started really high and we kind of started to let off the gas a bit. What's your thoughts on the season so far? Give us your general summary of what you're thinking so far.
Well, at the minute, I'm probably disappointed. I mean, once we're now the top twos have very much gone. It's just a case of now trying to see it out to get to the playoffs in it. We've really dropped off, and it's so frustrating considering the start that we had. And I think the transfer window killed us. We had a perfect opportunity there to spend not millions of pounds, just a little bit of money, get some experience in, and it would have getting us towards them top two. But to only get Enzo Lafayette to sign an injured centre forward, which is one of the most unbelievable things, or the most typical Sunderland thing you'd ever see. Typical
Sunderland, yeah.
Sign an injured centre forward, is unreal, and I just think that's the killer for me. It's disappointing. So I'm not feeling very enthusiastic because we've got to go into these playoffs probably in the worst form out of the four teams. We've just been saying there about Coventry battered us last weekend, and if we come up against them, then I kind of see us getting past them.
Yeah, difficult one. Was it a case of not spending, or could we just not get the players we were going for, do you think?
I think it was typical Sunderland, Mike. What happens is they put all the eggs in one basket, and when that player doesn't come off, they've got no backup plan, no plan B, and then if they fell foul again, how long now we've been saying we're not centre forward,
Yeah.
And then to back up the team selection and tactics that he's been picking, Mayenda not playing, just crazy team selections.
Conrad, do you think we've got a list of target players? Do you remember the board from the Sunderland Till I Die episode? Is it Ibrahimovic was on it?
Ibrahimovic, yeah. I'm sure he's probably still on there now, actually. But no, it was that thing of it just seemed to be 1 minute it was Cannon, then it was Diaz, then it was somebody else, and it was somebody else.
Rumors, yeah.
It just felt like we're just, even at one point we were looking at the Preston striker who scored against us a few weeks ago. But even then, the rumours were going, we don't really want him, but he's fourth down on the list. And it's well, why are you even entertaining someone who you don't really want? And we were saying in our videos, it was all profile strikers rather than someone who's actually, probably a level above it, someone who fits a system. But it did feel like that. It's they all went, right, we've got Enzo. And you were Jesus, that's really good, right? Let's link to what was it, Marcus Edwards early on, but we either don't bother or faff about, and he ends up going to Burnley and making them better. And he's sitting. We actually needed competition for Roberts because I'm probably in the camp that thinks Roberts is a really good player, really talented, but he doesn't do anything. He's mastered the art of looking like he's doing something, but he actually doesn't contribute anything. Whereas, I mean, Mike, you probably got bored of me talking about Mayenda and why he should be playing, because every time he plays, he contributes to the team and the game. So why not?
A threat. Yeah. Do you think we missed a trick when not getting any defenders in? Like, we didn't seem to even, there was not even many rumours on defenders, and look at the position we're in now.
Well, I was saying on my videos and all season we've been crying out for cover for them two fullback areas. We know once we lost Elise here, obviously we know Huggins is out. We know Hilda isn't good enough, and we know Circlin's injury record was always going to happen at some point. I think we've done really well to get him to the last 8 games of the season with him not being out for quite a while. But now he's out. Hilda's out the weekend. This defensive issue on Saturday is going to be interesting. We should have had cover. We've got no cover at all for Trey Hume, other than Luke O'Neill to shove him out there. So again, it's just preparation in it, and you keep on hearing that we didn't need these players. We didn't need cover. You need a big squad, and that's ultimately what's cost us.
Yeah. I mean,
there was Jensen Sealt could also play at right back, but he's going to have to play in the middle, probably, isn't he? Like it's one of 09 or him.
He's injured. He's out. He's suffered a setback, so he's out for Saturday.
Should
we just turn up with our boots? Just see what happens.
We're gonna go the 5-a-side formation of 2 at the back. But I mean, it does feel a bit disappointing, especially coming into that international break with the result we did get and how disappointing the performance was. But at the start of the season, last season we finished 16th. If the start of the season I told you we'd be 4th with 8 games to play, you'd have took that, right?
100%. Yeah, I'd have bit your hand off. But when you're at Christmas and you're sitting in 3rd or 4th, 3 or 4, 5 points off the top 2, then it becomes a different story, doesn't it? You just become accepting. We've done fantastic to get where we are. You've then got to kick on and make sure you push on again, because you might not get this opportunity again for 2 or 3 seasons. I think Labrise has done fantastic, no doubt about it. But the lack of squad, and I hate to see it, but I do think Dodd's leaving's had a massive impact on the team and the squad, which I never ever thought I'd hear myself say. But we just seem to be getting into games now blind. No preparation. There's no plan B. There's no energy. We've got the same formation all the time, and it's just we've been found out. We've been worked out, and teams now know how to play against us.
Yeah, I mean, Conrad, I'm sure we don't think Dodds is a master tactician, but do you think it's his dressing room influence that we've lost? Because he got on with everyone. You could see that.
There was definitely something to that, because that was a big reason we ended up getting Bellingham, because he knew him from Birmingham beforehand and he'd worked with Speakman. So there was clearly something. And like you say, all the players loved him. And, apart from, it wasn't going well at the end of last season, but I don't think anyone was really going to pull us out of that rut at the end of last season. And we just needed to just get ourselves over the line. We'd had an awful experience with Beale, and I think we just suffered from that, because prior to that, Dodds went up against Leeds United and West Brom and beat them both. Playing 5 at the back against Leeds and then mixed it up the next week against West Brom, and we still won both games. So he clearly knew a little bit. I think it was just by the end we were in free fall without any real threat of relegation. And then when it started to come there, we got a dodgy win down at Cardiff, and then just was like, we're safe now. That's all that matters.
I mean, I get this all the time on my channel from people who've got red and white glasses on, and the love and Speakman and that, and look where we come from 3 or 4 years ago. We're in League One. I get that. I get that, but it's not about the past. It's about now. You've now got the chance to get in the Premier League, and you've done nothing about it. The signings this season have been absolutely atrocious. We've signed 3 players who were injured. Samed, Abdullah High, and Paveda never kicked the ball. Alexic, who we paid £2.5 million for, he's never getting a look in. I don't know what he's done. And so I don't know. It's just strange.
It's frustrating, I think, because we've seen such good performance from the lads this season, and we know we've got really good quality players because there's people rapping on the door for them, and we know what they can do. And then all of a sudden they just fall off, and it's like there doesn't seem like a reason, right?
But they didn't learn from the mistakes, mate, because Chris Rigg now is exactly the same as Job was last season. Overplayed him, burnt him out, and now, you know, the last 2 or 3 months, he's been absolute dog shite. No fault of his own, it's just because they keep on playing him, and he said of taking him for rest, but because he's got no faith in the reserves, you know, now Samed's not good enough. Keep mentioning Lexic should have been getting more game time. He's reluctant to play these players, so this is why you end up in a team where when they all get out to form together, you struggle.
We've got this Abdullahi as well, who got a hat trick, didn't he, for the reserves?
You got 4 in 2 games or something.
4 in 2 games, and he's still not got a look in.
And then got injured again.
Is he injured again? Is he?
He's injured again now.
Oh, your injury list must be more up to date than mine.
Trey Ogunsui, however you say his name, scores for fun, but then doesn't get a minute in either, you know, any games for us.
He's injured and all.
He's injured as well. It's easy just to name players, it isn't.
So next year's improvement to the Stadium of Light is a hospital wing.
That's not been a this season thing. We've always had terrible records with injuries, but it's the same. There's always been 2 consistent things, which is our injury record and teams coming and playing part of the bus at our Stadium of Light. But it's 2 things we never seem to be able to just shake off. Like whether we be down the bottom and fighting for points, or whether we be going for promotion in leagues, everyone still comes and seems, all the littler teams, I should say, or the, you know, not the top 6s, turn up and just sort of low block and just go, all right, that's it, that's all we do. And you'd have thought that somewhere along the line we'd have gone, actually, we're better at this now and we know how to break it down, or we're a bit more patient, but they still don't. And yet, I don't want to blame it all on the physio, but that physio's been there for donkey's years, and they're still all injured all the time. And it's like, do you ever think, like, I don't want to sort of, you know, I'm sure you do a very good job, but maybe it's time to try something else if that's not working.
It's like this Jaden Dan situation. I mean, what's happened there? You know, as he got a Lebris, well, actually he's injured, but he'll be all right. Just not.
I think we signed him to sort of show that we signed someone, even though we knew he wasn't probably going to play. Or
why is he not being sent back? This is what I'm curious about. Because surely it's costing us money for physio and stuff like that. He's clearly not going to get him before the end.
He's never been here. He's
never been here.
He came to watch 1 game, and then he's been back there since we signed him.
It's like when Sims got injured for us. He was back at Everton, and then he sort of came back, but Everton recalled him at the end of that sort of spell. When they get a proper injury, their own team rehabs them, not us.
Well, let's go positive. Let's go positive. Wayne, what's your best moment of the season so far? What's your favourite moment of the season so far?
Well, at the start of the season, you know, when we're at the stadium, we're beating Sheffield Wednesday. Was it 4-0 or something?
4-0, yeah.
4-0. I mean, them sort of performances at the start of the season when we're watching that high press, full of energy, and the team was good to watch. And I would say the first probably 2 or 3 months of the season was the high point.
Yeah. No specific moment, goal, anything like that. Tell you mine just to give you context. Mine was Luke O'Nine picking up the linesman flag.
Funny that.
I think what did I said that week where we played. I think it was Hull, Luton, and Oxford, and got 9 points, and it was like 3 different performances from us within a week, and it was just like, why haven't Sunderland done this before? Like, look, like we didn't just treat every game the same and just hope for the best. It was actually like, we know we're in for a tough game at Hull. We just need to ride it out. We know we're going to get beaten up at Luton. We just need to sit and absorb, and then we'll punch back. And then Oxford, it was like, we're clearly better than these, and we're going to play them off the park. And it was just like, it was refreshing to see that sort of change from us in our mentality, rather than going, we play the same no matter who we play against.
And now we're now seeing a million miles away from that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'd probably say a goal, Job's goal against Derby at home in the top left-hand corner was a
Chris Riggs. That one. I was in your seat for that one.
There you were. Chris Riggs' goal against Borough, the back heel, was a good goal.
Oh, yes.
I think Dan Neil's rocket, was it Preston?
Swansea,
when we were getting beaten, we come back and beat them. The rocket from 25, 30 yards. So there's been a few good goals this season. But I don't know. I'm in the mentality now where I'm looking at the negatives.
Yeah, I'm too angry to be positive.
The week we beat Sheffield United at home, and then signed Enzo Lefebvre on the Monday afterwards was a special sort of like, wow, we've not only taken on top of the league and we're easily beat them, really. They didn't really bother us that much, and we've just signed someone who's playing Champions League football. Like, all right, then this is great, and then they just didn't back it up.
I mean, if from a fan's perspective, like the Sheffield United game, we suddenly gone 2 up front, something what you never ever would have expected us to do. We've never done it since.
No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've been top of the league team with 2 up front. Yet you've got teams like Plymouth and Hull, and you're going back to playing 5 in midfield. I just didn't get it.
No, there's no consistency, and that's the frustrating thing. With that in mind, we're 4th, 69 points.
Same points we had 2 seasons ago when we ended up in the playoffs, actually.
Yeah, can we, with like, what is it, 10 games? Is it 10 games to go?
8 games.
8
games, yeah. Couldn't count.
Yeah, sorry, 8 games to go. Can we still get an automatic slot? If the other results go our way, Wayne, do you think we can get the wins?
Absolutely no chance. I think we're too far behind. We're not playing well enough, and the top 3 are they're not losing either.
No,
the top 3 show no signs of slipping up at all. Even though I've watched Sheffield United at least 4 or 5 times the last few weeks, and they've been rubbish, but they're getting results. A sign of a good side. Yeah. The sneaking 1-0 wins, and Burnley did it for so long.
And now Burnley look like a machine.
Now they're starting to score goals. Marcus Edwards, made a difference to them exactly. So, no,
another player we could have had. Here's what you could have won.
I mean, the only chance I think is if I'd rather play Sheffield United than I'd rather play Burnley if we got to the playoffs. So it's like we were saying for weeks. It's not about now chasing down the top 2 and trying this relentless push, because you don't want to get every bit of energy out of them to still finish 4th or 3rd and not make it. You sort of go, right, we are where we are now. We just need to start considering this and looking after players and,
But is resting players more important than momentum?
Now it is. Maybe not with like 3-4 games to go, but in the next 4, I would probably say, yeah, that's when you want to start taking care of people.
I mean, I think after we got beat at Leeds, where we were like so close to getting a massive result down there, that just seems to have knocked the plugs in, and they seem to have dropped off massively since then. I mean, if we'd held on against Leeds, then we could have possibly still we were still challenging for top 2, aren't we? But
I think Leeds was more of a sickener for me than Coventry, just because of how well we were actually playing that first half, and it was just like, this is unreal. Like, look at how good we're doing. We're going to beat them, and we're going to be going for it. And then it was just a drop off in the second half, and I couldn't say why. And then Semed was playing attacking midfield at one point. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, and then he wasn't marking anyone. They get a free header, and Patterson then flaps at a cross, and you're like, right, well, we've lost that one. Right, let's put it right against Hull. Oh no, all right, we lost again. Great, okay. And it just, like you say, it just sort of, that's where we've dropped our momentum. At Coventry, I say it every year, we have games where we just shit the bed. We do, and I'm hoping.
I wish it was earlier in the season we had that game though.
No, not quite as recent as these 2 games, but I'm hoping that was it. And it sort of goes, everything went wrong. No one played well. There was nothing. There's no plus points. You just forget about it and you move on. There's no, like at Leeds, you can at least say, why did the second half go bad? Let's look at that and learn from that. At Coventry, I don't think there's anything you want to look at and go, why did this happen? You just want to go, bad day, move on.
But the words there, I'm with Wayne. Who's learning from it? Because we don't seem to learn from anything.
No. Well, I stretched last time, and I don't think you and Bowers quite agreed with me, but I think that there was a moment towards 20 minutes to in the end, maybe half an hour to the end of the Coventry game. Shut up, you. Where she doesn't believe me either. Where he could have changed it for damage limitations, and he didn't. Now, I don't know if that was him just being like, I want to watch Coventry and see what they're going to do, or if he was thinking, I don't want to show what my hand would be to try and mix it up if we do end up getting them again. So he didn't bother tactically changing it.
And I remember my response in the last video. I think you're giving him too much credit.
Maybe, but it's, there's got to be some reason you just didn't bother. For the players to go, I didn't make a run, but we're 3-0 down, you get that in place. But for a manager to go, actually, I'm all right with us just being really embarrassed here, and
Right,
I'm just going to look like I've got my hands in my pockets and I'm doing nothing. Was a bit like, why are you doing that? Like, what's in it for you?
Any other manager would probably have made 2 or 3 changes at half time after that first half performance.
Well, that's what we were all saying in the live stream comments. We were going, just need to change it immediately.
Right.
He gave them 10 minutes and it just carried on. And it was a bit like, you've seen that before when managers give them McCarthy used to do that all the time, wait for 55 and then go and change it. But it was one of those, it's like you needed a reaction straight away. Some managers pull players in the first half, but it shows that they're just like, not right. And I'm not willing to wait on this. I need to change it now. Because was it 2-0 at half time?
Yeah. 2-0,
Yeah.
He's definitely a last minute sub person. With that in mind, Wayne, I'll ask you, is Labrie still the right man for the job?
Well, I think so. I mean, where we are, like you said earlier, we'd have took 4th at the start of the season when you just snap your hand off. So for what he's had and for the players that he's got, he's done a fantastic job this season. But he just seems recently to be getting found out a little bit tactically, and whether that might something to do with Dodds. Dodds might have been the person who knows the league, and might say that still should leave Proctor, and the rest of them should still be doing that same similar sort of job. But even when Dodds was here, you would see he was the one on the touchline ranting and raving at the players, like you've just been saying there, Conrad, that Labrie just seems to stand there with his hands in his pockets. He's got knee presence on the touchline, has he?
One of his coaches was talking to someone in the when they were coming on the other day about, and he was like, yeah, you do that. And I was sitting there going, shouldn't Labrie be doing this? Like, you're the leader of it. But then again, Alex Neil, when he was there, had like 4 people, and they would all stand on the talk about it, and then maybe one of them would deliver the message and stuff. So like, there is things where other coaches are all part of a setup, of course. But I've just never seen him actually sitting with a player and being like, I want you to just nothing. You never see him talking to them.
I mean, is it the case where we should have gotten Frank Lampard? A lot of people were laughing when he was linked to us, weren't they?
Oh God,
He's done well.
I'm still jury's still out for me.
I feel
he had a good team at Coventry. Sorry to interrupt you there, Coventry got to an FA Cup semi-final and were robbed of a final. Coventry got to a playoff final, and they had a bad spell this year with the same manager they've had for years, and they sacked him. So it's not like he's inherited a terrible championship team. He inherited a very good one who probably just needed a change, and that's what they've got.
Because I spoke with one of the Sky Blues fans TV came over the day their manager got sacked. We pre-arranged it, and it happened to be on that day, and they were in shock over it. They couldn't believe it. They thought it was a mistake at the time because they weren't doing badly. So it's interesting, but I think Lampard, because of his playing experience, I often find it, like Keane, are good player motivators. They're good inspirational managers, but the tactics might fall down at some point. But we'll see.
His Premier League tactics would probably fall down. That's what I'd imagine. If Coventry got promoted, I think they'd be found out quite. Like Russell Martin. Everyone was going, "What a great tactician in the Championship," and it's like it's not. It's just throw 10 people forward at all moments. And unfortunately, when you play that in the Premier League, you're going to get found out, which they are
massively. Yeah. Wayne, if we obviously we've resigned ourselves to the playoffs.
We're not there yet. We're not guaranteed that yet.
What is it? It's 11 points away from second, and is it like 12 points from 7th? I think so. But I think a lot of the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and all of them have to play each other as well. So it's one of those things where someone will have to gain points or drop points, and that. So we're in almost by default, really.
I think the teams we've got left to play though can all still make the playoffs, so they've all got something to play for. It's not as though we're playing teams that have the season's like Millwall on the weekend. They're only 6 points outside of 6th place.
Aaron Connolly's return.
Oh yeah, don't. It's written in the stars.
Yeah. Alex Neil.
With that in mind, with Lafay coming back next week, apparently, maybe, possibly, Ballard coming back soon after. If we're back up to a decent or almost full strength by the playoffs, how do you think we can fare, Wayne? Do you think we can do it?
If we've got a full strength team, we've got a cracking chance. But again, it's all down to mentality of the coach of how much he wants to win. You know, you've got Lefebvre. We've never seen him play in his proper position yet.
Yeah, that is frustrating.
if he comes back, who will he drop? Will he drop Rig? Will he drop Job?
He's got to drop Neil.
Well, he's your captain. He's not going to drop Dan Neil, is he?
Well, he subbed him for the first time ever, so we're making progress.
He subbed him for the first time, actually, and it's almost that we were saying the same thing, that we think Brown's actually a better option than him, and the experience there, really. And so I want to have a look at Brown and Bellingham together, really, and then possibly Enzo as a 10 with Mundell or Watson. You keep alternating them until one of them hits form.
Is it not a good excuse, like these next few games, to try that? And because he could say to Neil, we're going to try some different players while we're just waiting for these playoffs to start, without upsetting the dressing room. Maybe that's the opportunity there.
But the key is, I think, is to approach the games right. You should be getting the 2 or 3 goals up if you can, and last half an hour, then make changes and bring them on. It's just, I don't know, it just seems to be going about things the wrong way, and constantly playing players who are out of form has been his downfall, and that to me just shows he's got no faith, on the bench at all.
Yeah.
I think Alexis should be getting more minutes. Every time he comes on, he looks like a forward thinker and a forward runner with the ball. Like, he's missed arguably 2 one-on-ones that have cost us big, when he had one at Millwall, could have been 2-0, 10 seconds later it was 1-1. And he did the same at Watford when it was 2-2 and he went through on goal, but Isidore did as well. And you're sitting there going, but he's getting the ball, he's putting his head down, he's driving past people, which actually at the minute is probably what we need. Like when Roberts did, is going through a bad spell, and then every now and again, I know I criticise him, but when he skips past 2 people and he gets into a bit of space, you suddenly start going, we're actually going to do something. You start to just get this momentum. And if we've got somebody else who can do that, why not just throw him in and go on, let's see what you've got. Play him instead of Rig at the moment. There's no harm.
What was the game where Roberts went off injured? Was that?
It was a recent one, wasn't it? Where
was it? Anyway,
yeah, maybe.
First 20 minutes, Roberts gets injured, and what does he do? He brings Chris Rig on. And like, what's that all about? Just because it's Chris Rig? Chris Rig's not a winger.
No, Mayenda's played better on the right this season than Roberts and anybody else who's played.
Mayenda was on the bench.
Yeah,
it's like them sort of things that I just didn't get it.
Yeah, there is some questionable decisions at that stage, definitely. One of my fears is we don't go up and we're going to lose a lot of players, and then that could spell a downfall after that, a plummet, unless we really do some really good recruitment. Conrad, we have some transfer news. Would you like to share that?
It's been doing the rounds-ish. Yeah, doing the rounds. I think the major one at first that I sent to you, Mike, was I think West Ham were looking at Chris Rig. We said we wanted 20 million, around that sort of mark, and they said we're looking at 10. And I think your reaction of "fuck off" was appropriate, really, which is we shouldn't be entertaining anything like that unless they're going to give us 150% sell-on clause for him. Just nothing like that. But then the stranger one is that Spurs apparently want him as well, but they came in apparently with 38 million as a price tag for him, so almost double what we were asking for him.
That's insane.
Which to be honest, the way the market goes, I'm sitting there going, well, that's fair, but why is it that much? So I'm thinking they're offering more to not have a sell on for him. But even the reason for it.
Even without a sell-on clause, when it's 38 million, they're not going to turn that down, are they?
No.
Well, I wouldn't turn it down, to be honest with you. I know he's a great prospect and stuff, but for that sort of money, you don't know how he's going to progress, do you? No doubt about it, he's outstanding, but 38 million pounds, a lot of money.
Would he be our biggest ever? Yeah, he would, wouldn't he? Because that Pickford was 30, Bent was 24.
Henderson was 30 something when I wanted. So
I thought he's 20. I think Henderson. I think he was quite early on in the that was big money then. Though that was.
Yeah, I remember it was definitely 20. I remember Henderson.
Just because it's Daniel Levy, I tell him to fuck off. Just because we know how he negotiates. When we try to sign Darren Bent and that, he's an absolute nightmare to negotiate with. So I'll be saying no, 150.
Yeah.
But I mean, we want to keep a good relationship with Spurs. We've gained some decent players from them, especially from their youth. When you look at the likes of Jack Clark and Sirkin and stuff like that, they all came up through Spurs. So Mundle as well, yeah. So I mean, it'd be good to keep a good relationship. 38 million plus another 2 players like that, then
and then Lawrence get him back on loan next season.
Yeah, yeah, we'll have him back and develop him for you.
I'd be more like, if they came in with that money, I'd actually almost be talking them to like, no, actually, tell you what, we'll do 30, but I still want 10, 15% of whatever he goes for next. Might not be, what we want in terms of finances, but you still think, well, that's going to be money coming in later on if he does go, and you keep your relationship sweet, or you even go, and I tell you what, next season we want 2 of your Scarlets on loan. Do you know what I mean? Someone who you think, actually, we would going to loan them out to a Premier League team, but we'll give them to you.
Yeah. Yeah, good shout, good shout. Maybe there's some negotiations in the background. But it's not just Rig that's a threat to go at the moment, is it? After the England highlight reels.
Well, I mean, the other ones where there's no figures named, but the obvious one is Bellingham, of course. I think I've lost. It was easier to count the teams that didn't get linked with him in the end, but there was rumours of, I think, Palace, but they were in the summer, of course. And then there was Nottingham Forest was the latest one, looking at him, and as well as other, I don't know if these are actual linked ones, but then there was like Man United fan channels all going, look at Bellingham over here. But I think because of his name, you get a lot of people looking at Jude thinking, well, actually, he's doing it for Sunderland. Let's take the risk. Do you know what I mean? He's got to be, half decent as well. So I think Forest is probably the one you want to watch, because they'll still be looking for, I don't want to say backups, but squad building for their European campaigns next year.
But you say no numbers have been mentioned. Wayne, if Rig is 38 million, how much are you going to want for Job?
Well, I think there's been figures of 35 banded about, weren't there? I would probably say Job's probably at this point better than Rig. Mm-hmm. So, if you're basing on that, you're looking at 40, 45, aren't you? But I don't know. I just think, even if we do get promoted, I think we'll lose them anyway. So I just think next season, if we do get promoted, I'd love for them to stay with us for a season and give us a go in the Premier League for a year. But I think
that's our hope, isn't it? That we get promoted and everyone commits to at least one more year, and we give it a go with the team.
But it's going to be our wage budget that's the downfall on that, right?
And again, that's down to the owners, Mike. What's their ambition?
The model would have to change again, though, because it definitely changed in August from we were looking at players under the value of $1 million each time and either under the age of 19 or free transfers. And then, like Wayne said, we just went, Alexic, 2 million, Isidore on loan, and then with a buy-on option of 4. And then in January, we were throwing 12 millions at players trying to get them. And you're sitting there going, the model's clearly changed. So maybe the wages, if we got promoted, would change. Maybe that'll be a thing next season. Even if we don't get promoted, let's say the wages change next season, because we're still 14th in the table of like wage budgets. We can't keep sort of at that level. You're going to need to move yourself up into the single figures at least.
The experienced players won't tolerate getting a championship wage in the Premier League, right? No. And you can't do much with all kids. So it's going to have to change, or it's just going to be like, here we are, parachute payment.
You're going to have to either do what West Brom used to do, which is go up, not do anything apart from build for the season after, and take the money and then have a proper go at it when you hopefully go back up the second time. Or you're going to have to start thinking of deals to do this summer with your own players going, if we get promoted, your wage goes up 25, 30% maybe, incentivize them to get promoted is another thing. But not everyone's going to do that.
Dan Neil hasn't signed a new contract yet.
No.
That's been Roberts. Roberts for me can get any time. I'm not a fan of Roberts anyway, but like Dan Neil still not signed that new contract.
I think we could find better. I still do, Mike.
Break my heart. I love Roberts.
I like Roberts, and he's had a lot of great moments for us, but I'm not daft enough to think he's irreplaceable.
His end product's rubbish, and there's a reason why he's had like 5,000 clubs and he's been chased from every one of them.
Do you know what it is? His end product is wrong. It's not rubbish, it's wrong. He keeps cutting in and trying to go for the shot like the other players does. He just needs to deliver a ball. That's all he needs to learn to do, and he'd be perfect because the runs are great, the taking on the players are great, the ball handling's great. Just cross. Just stop trying to take it in and have a shot.
You need to buy a striker to play with Isidore and put my ender out in Robert's position. That's Still what I... Because then you could even go Mayenda up top when we need to break out from corners because he's rapid.
Yeah.
Just didn't give Isidore any headers.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. Someone who can head a ball as well.
Right. Okay. Let's have a little. I'll have a little break. Not you guys. I'll have a little break while Wayne takes on Conrad's quiz. We've got a leaderboard. I was going to get like a Top Gear leaderboard, but we've got a leaderboard, and Michael Bowers is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So we just need you on there. So we've got 2 people on there. So
yeah.
Conrad, I'm going to hand over to you. I'm going to disappear into the background and just laugh. So
is this why you can edit? Can we edit this bit when I get them all wrong?
Yeah. Maybe. Well, you
see how bad it
all
goes.
Right. I'll enjoy.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
Right. So it's not. It's probably, I don't know if this is a benefit or not. This is all 21st century Sunderland questions, so it's all from 2000s onwards.
Doesn't help.
Doesn't help. No, we're hopefully going to catch Terry out with that one as well. So you know, you've got nothing terrible. I'm going to try and say, but hopefully,
Have you not even got multiple choice?
No,
Damn.
no, straight in. But one of these questions I'm going to ask you, and you're going to be like, "Have you really asked me that question?" Like it's the most obvious answer in the world.
No pressure.
Exactly. So Michael, keep count for me anyway. But we'll start with question 1. Who was the manager of Sunderland at the beginning of the 21st century?
Dear me. Peter Reid?
I'm muted because someone's being noisy. Yes, see? You're off to 1. That's it can't be terrible now. We don't need to edit it. You've got
1.
You're on the board. So gets a bit more difficult now. To transfers question. Sunderland signed which defender from Chelsea in August 2000?
Ooh. Permanent.
Aye, permanent.
Can we pass and come back to them?
Yes, I will allow that one. I will allow you to, because we did. Yeah, that's not awful. We'll come back to that one, Mike. Remind me to come back to that one. Okay. Question 3. Name the club that this player got their first goal against. Claudio Reyna.
Man City.
No, it was Everton. Just for context, we asked.
I knew it was one of the teams he used to play for. Didn't he?
Yeah. I think so. We asked Bowers that one, but it was Jordan Henderson. That's who he got for that one. So a bit more recent for him, but a bit more of a legend in Claudio Reyna, I guess. This is I will admit this one was difficult, so I've made it easier because originally it wanted all 3, so for 1 point. So in the 13-14 Premier League season, Wes Brown was sent off 3 times. Can you name 2 of the teams he was sent off against?
Dear me.
Yeah. Hey, what originally wanted all 3, but then again, question 6, you can't get wrong.
13-14.
Yeah. I will give you a small hint. None of the top 6 teams.
Dear me. These are solid, these, Conrad. I'm going to go for West Ham.
Okay.
And Everton.
Cool. No. You could have had Stoke City, Norwich, and Hull. So all the cities, apart from Man City. Yeah. Number 5. Which unlikely player scored a solo goal in a 3-0 away victory at Chelsea in 2010?
That was Nedum and Nua.
Yeah, spot on. Now, here's your tap-in. If you get this wrong, I think people will doubt you're a Sunderland fan, okay? Who saved Alan Shearer's penalty in the derby where we won 2-1?
Would it be a certain Mr. Sorensen?
It would, yeah. See, you're flying up now. Another, I think, a reasonable tap-in, and we've mentioned it earlier on, actually. Darren Bent left for which club in January 2011?
Aston Villa.
Yeah. Question 8. Sunderland knocked Newcastle's under-23s out of the Checkatrade Trophy in 2019. What was the final score?
Whoa. 7-1. Nil?
No, I wish it was 4-0.
Oh, was it? I thought it was no, it was right.
Never mind. And then last one. Well, we've got to come back to question 2. So last one of the regimented ones anyway. Who's the first? I can't even read my own writing here. Who was this player's first goal against? David Healy.
David Healy.
Yeah. Blast from the past, that.
Blast from the past, that. David Healy.
I think I gave Bowers a clue here, Mike. I can see you nod a bit there. So it was a cup game. I don't think they were Premier League at the time.
Leicester?
You're wrong, but you're in the right area of Nottingham.
Oh.
So you're in the sort of Midlands area anyway. Right. We go back to which defender did Sunderland sign from Chelsea in August 2000? Mike, do you know it? I can see you there. Do you know that one? No, not a clue. Not a Scooby.
August 2000. I'm just trying to think of who was playing for them at the time. And who would have come here? 24 years ago. 25 years ago.
So that's not our first season back in the Premier League. That's our second.
No, second season back. He must have been shite if we signed him then, because we were shite.
Well, we finished 7th that year.
Oh, that's right, we did, aye.
It was a season afterwards he went shite.
I'm just trying to think who used to play for them at the time.
This is Mourinho Chelsea. Yeah. This is
it was the
best of the rest kind of Chelsea.
I can see the strips used to have Commodore on the front. I just kind of think of who was playing for them at the time and who would have come to us.
They had the old lion badge Chelsea at that point in the old-fashioned shape, wasn't it?
No, I can't think of it.
Okay, I'm going to throw out a name. Emerson Tome.
Oh, God.
So, Mike, was that 5, I think?
Yep, it was.
Yeah, 5. So you're only 1 under Bowers.
Shocking.
There we go.
Some of them were really hard, though, I will admit. Some of those, when I was writing them, were like, God, like that one where it was like, for 1 point, name all 3 teams. Wes Brown was sent off again. I was like, I'm not asking him to aim all.
I would never have getting the Wes Brown one, never, ever.
No. But there were some good ones in there. I would have probably. So, yeah, 5. So you're second.
I mean, we won't say last. You're second place.
Second of 2.
Yeah.
Second of 2.
You're automatically promoted anyway. That's the way we'll call it.
I'm in the promotion spots for now.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that was good. Cheers for that, Wayne. We appreciate you doing that. I know it's a bit of an ambush, and I can't stand it. Me, I'm useless with anything like.
I'll have to try and catch you, Mike, as well at one point. I think you got to get yourself on there.
I'll be sat here googling very stealthily. Right. Let's quickly. We've got a bit of time left. I want to look ahead at the coming games, Wayne, and what you think out of them games. I can read them out to you if you want. But what do you think our chances are for them coming 8 games, and what are the potential banana skins? Obviously, we've got Millwall, which I think is the most dodgy for me at the moment. West Brom, Norwich, Swansea, Bristol, Blackburn, Oxford, and QPR.
I mean, if you look, all them games, they can go either way, because Millwall, I've predicted a defeat on Saturday for Millwall. I think we're going to get turned over. I really do. I just think with this patched up back four, they're going to come here. They've got to win. Which could play in our hands a little bit if they come and attack us. But like you say, like of Honeyman and Watmore and Conley, what's going to happen.
Alex Neil.
And Alex Neil. I just think
Finn Aziz as well.
Got some good players. Got some great players. I think that Jaffet Tanganga of defender, he's at Tottenham last season.
Yeah.
Some really, really good quality players. So that's a banana skin for me Saturday. You then got the 2 away games, Norwich and West Brom. We now record of West Brom until a couple of years ago that we always got beat down there. Then you've got Tony Mowbray to factor into that. So you could easily be looking at 3 defeats on the bounce.
Wow. Yeah. What do you think our wins are out of them, mate? If things go the way we want, as in Lafay comes back in a week. Ballard comes back in, say, let's say 2 or 3 weeks. How many points are you reckoning out of the 8 games? Think positive, Wayne. Think positive.
No, what, right? I think at this moment in time, it suits us playing away from home, because I think at home we've dropped off that much, and the pressure, the atmosphere is absolutely flat as a fart. You know, and there's now to get the fans up, and the players are terrified to play at home. So the away games for me now is our best chances of getting points. So we've got 2 away games coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then we've got the 2, Bristol City and Oxford United. Oxford surely should be a win away.
Well, Gary Redwood's done a cracking job since he went there. I mean, they were I think they were near the bottom. He's
dead and buried right at the beginning.
He's like lost 1 or 2 games since he went there, so that'll not be an easy game.
They're fighting for their lives.
Aye, they're fighting for their lives. QPR on the day can beat anybody. You know, they've been on a decent run lately. So
we normally don't have a good record going down. Oh, it's that ours, isn't it? We played already at there. Yeah.
24 points on offer. How many points can we get?
14.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Considering the form we're coming into this international break with, I don't think that's too bad. Or did you say points last time for that, Conrad?
I think so. I think I said about 14 as well, I think. Yeah. But that was when we had 27 to play for. No, it wasn't. It was after Coventry. Yeah, it must have been the same. Yeah.
It all depends on, like you say, injuries. If we can get some of these players back, then, you know, things look a little bit different. But even we get them back, Ballard coming back, you know, Lafay coming back, Lafay hamstrings are dodgy, you know, you ain't got to rush people back. We're seeing it happen loads of times where they rush them back, play a couple of games and they're out again.
This is what surprised us, because in the presser he said about a week for Lafay, but usually a week before they come back, like me and Conrad were saying in our preview the other day, you usually see like, oh, look, he's back in training, oh, look, he's doing this. And they've seen
on the 21s, he's had a game in the 21s. We've never seen none of that. Chris Reed comes straight back in the team, had need run out. Roberts come back in the team, had need run out. Certain was out for God knows how many weeks, came straight back in the side. You know, and I don't know. I think Dan Ballard, that's a reason why he's not, because they brought him back too soon.
Yeah,
he was playing well when he came back. That first half he had against, well, actually the whole game against Leeds, he was decent. And then he got injured, throwing himself in the way of something for Hull City. He injured himself defending a goal, and it's just a bit like that's the kind of commitment we probably needed at the moment. And I always think he's a very aggressive defender, not aggressive with his challenge. Well, he is as well, but the fact that when Meppen and 09 get it, they always sort of turn and look for an out. Like, you know, when Patterson's been given the ball and it's been told if it comes in this way, you turn and you open it that way. If it comes in this way, you just out you go. The defenders are just doing that. Ballard doesn't. He just goes forward with it. He moves us all forward with it and adds as an extra body in there. And I always think he's better for it. And he's not slow either when he's got to get back after him.
And again, though, that to bring him back on the side was a strange choice anyway. I mean, Chris Metten done out wrong. You know, and we've got the Luke 09 debate. So
he's played well 09, but it's that thing of like what we've always said is, do you want someone who's shoehorned into a position, or do you want 2 natural sort of players in there?
Yeah, it's difficult. With the team in mind going forward, would you play Simon Moore at any point, Wayne?
I've been seeing for weeks and weeks and weeks on my videos, and I've been getting slated for that. For me, Patterson would have been out about 6 weeks ago, because he went on about, there was 4 games where he cost us a goal each game. You know, there was the whole game where he flattened his own net, the Leeds game, potentially 2 goals. He almost got caught out another one with a long range shot and he went over his head. So
do you think dropping him for a game might at least change his attitude?
Cardiff, he flapped that one as well. And I know there was a debate, well, was it a foul, was it not? And it shouldn't be a foul, but it's one of those, so it's like, well, actually, anytime we touch a keeper or you see a keeper touched, it is. So, but he should be stronger anyway. As a keeper, you can come out, catch a ball and knee somebody in the face while doing it. And the ref's like, when you got the ball, like, start clearing people out when you...
He's big enough now. He's put that weight on. You think he would... he's stocked up a bit, so you think he'd have that power. But, I mean, it's difficult as a keeper. It really is, because you get a lot of pressure on you. But do you think just dropping him for a game might change that? Because he's been untouchable as a selection for like 2 seasons now. Do you think that doesn't help his attitude?
I think like 2 or 3 of the players in the Sunderland team at the moment that he hasn't got a competition for his place. You know, there isn't really. Yes, Simon Moore came in and did well, but there isn't anybody pushing him to be.
No. Simon Moore's definitely been better than like when we had Bishop and Bass and people like that behind him. But you're right, Roberts has no competition at all, and you're almost sitting there going, they refuse to and like give anyone a chance to be a competition for Dan Neil, really, as well. And 09 as well, he plays regardless. Like, granted, he's doing very well this season, and if you'd have asked me a couple of seasons ago in League One, would he be your starting centre back? I'd have probably gone, well, you're joking, aren't you? But he has done a great job. But is it now at the detriment of us that we're playing him instead of, you know, beforehand, Ballard and Meppen?
I mean, that's crazy to me when you've got two defenders like that. I mean, Mepham's been absolutely class for me this season. Been able to play the season for me.
He was found out completely by Hadji Wright. Hadji Wright had his number all day.
Did I? I mean, that's one game in how many, you know?
Yeah, exactly. 1 in 30, with 38.
So I just think with Patterson's a great shot stopper, but it's the rest of his game. He doesn't command his box. You never hear him shouting. His distribution has never improved in 2 or 3 years as he come in the side.
Yeah, I said on a stream before that it's set pieces. It's anything like that where he's got time to overthink this crap. Yeah. If it's a sudden snap reaction shot, he's good, and he'll get to it without even thinking. But it's just he needs that experienced keeper to rub off on him more. You know,
if you think when we had Pickford, or even if you think of Pickford for England or Pickford for Everton, a player slightly under hits a back pass that he still gets, he's still screaming in that player's face, "What are you doing?" You know, Pickford makes a great save and someone just gets, you know, the team gets through. He's still shouting at the defence where he meant to be. I can't think of any moment where I've ever seen Patterson get up and be angry at his defence that it's like, you've let that happen. Like, I think the worst I've done is I've seen him go,
right,
and it's a bit like that's not enough. Like, if you're winning a lot of games and you're a bit like, lads, come on, like right for the first one, but when you're sitting there, you almost need your keepers. Schmeichel used to run out. I remember we played Borough at home in 2006. We lost 3-0. Schwarzer got hold of Ridgewell, I think, just grabbed him by the scruff of the neck and was screaming in his face. They were 3-0 up at the time.
That's what keepers are supposed to be, slightly mad. I remember sat behind the nets and Lionel Perez getting kicked between the legs. He was down for about 10, 15 minutes, and he got up and he grabbed the net to all the crowd and he was screaming, "Okay, come on!" And he had the best game ever after that. I was like, yes, that's a keeper.
You want someone, I think he's just, I don't want to say passionless, because at the end of the Luton game where we won 2-1 at their place, you could see what it meant to him that he'd sort of kept them out. Yeah, they scored a goal, but he wasn't at fault for it. But you could see the saves he made. It meant so much to him. And it's like, I just want a bit of that. Just want you to seem like you're really into this game. Because the only other example I've got of this is Aaron Ramsdale, who constantly gets criticised, and rightly so, for himself saying, I just can't concentrate in games and I just go away with it. And it's like, if I don't think you're involved in the game, I think you're not concentrating, and that's when a mistake happens. I go, well, what are you doing?
Exactly. But I mean, he is still young. You know, don't forget he's only still 24 something.
Yeah.
But, and I just think the weight that he's put on has hindered him, because now he's not as mobile as he was. He jumped off the Cardiff one. I mean, the size of him, he should be wiping all him out.
He needs the aggression to go with it. He needs reverse anger management classes. He needs to increase the anger. Get Jack Nicholson down there and sort him out.
They need to get those like gladiator style pads where it's like you're running for corners and someone's just barging into you and stuff like that. Just literally start rattling him while he's training, not just like, here, catch this and save it, because he'll do that. What you actually need to do is start putting pressure on him.
Yeah, definitely. Right, let's round this out. You've probably already done this, so it might be easy for you, Wayne, but give us a prediction for Millwall.
Yes, I've gone for Sunderland 1, Millwall 2.
Brilliant.
I hate predictors to get beaten, very rare do it, but I've just, after watching that on Saturday, I've got no faith, because I know he's going to pick the same team.
Yeah. Well, I hope he doesn't, and I hope he restores.
He can't pick the same team.
I hope he restores your faith in Sunderland. And of course, if you're watching us, you more than likely already subscribed to Wayne's channel. But if you're not, it's at Only Fools and SAFC. Wayne, can you give us a quick elevator pitch? Can you tell everyone what your channel is all about and what you do on there?
Pretty much the same as what you do. I don't do this sort of live stuff, but match previews, match reviews, breaking news. You know, I do some giveaways now and again. So trying to get to 4,000 by the end of this year. I'll be more than happy. I'm currently on 3,706, which is massive anyway. Never ever thought I'd get that, but if you don't mind, then give us a subscribe.
Yeah, go and check it out. The best thing as well is he doesn't wait. He gets a reaction in there straight away, and you've never met a more honest YouTuber when he's disappointed in the results. So go on. It's not for the faint-hearted. Make sure the kids aren't in the room. Turn the volume down if we've lost. But yeah, go and check out.
When we've won, it's fine. When we've got beat, didn't watch it.
Yeah. No, watch it just to make sure the kids aren't listening.
Mike told me off once. I can't remember which game. It was Stoke City away where we lost in the last minute, and I sort of went, I'm just going to do it straight away, and I literally sent it to him, and he just went, "You are the most miserable man like I've ever met." And I was like, you could just hear the disgust and just disappointment in everything you were saying, and I was like, I was just sitting there going, yeah, well, they were just crap, weren't they? They just didn't even bother.
I had it
not asked at all.
On the Coventry one I did. I think the thumbnail was like fucking embarrassing, and I had a comment to say, what was it? I haven't even watched your video. The title put me off. I was like, well, it's still made your comment, so thanks very much.
Yeah, you've turned it on. Yeah. No, we used to get criticised for negativity, and now they just shout into the void.
Yeah, by a board games fan, but you know,
board games. Is he sleepy board games? It's him and high pitch game, and he's been on Terry's and he slates every comment.
He's invisible on our channel now. He's invisible on our channel now. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. If you're not subscribed to us, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to go and check out Wayne's channel as well. Make sure you do that. As well as you can see it on the screen, the link will be in the information section below, and go and check him out. Conrad, would you like to say goodbye to the millions of viewers?
Yeah, thanks for all for watching. Definitely go and check out Wayne if you haven't already have it. And 5 out of 6, 5 out of 9, not bad, Wayne. I say not bad. You're above half.
It could be better.
It almost sounded better when he said 5 out of 6, though.
5 out of 6. It's just an upside down 9. We'll just call it that.
Wayne, would you like to say goodbye to our millions of viewers?
Yeah, thanks very much for having us on, boys. I greatly appreciate it. I always love doing these type of shows, and I'll have you on my show in the next coming weeks as well, so we'll arrange that. But thanks for having us on.
That'll be awesome. And everyone else, we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.